Hello there, a very good evening to you indeed, and many thanks for joining us on Rwanda Television News tonight. I hope that you had yourselves a great and productive day, and welcome to our tonight's edition. These are the headlines. Rwanda has set measures for VAT rewards and voluntary disclosure to encourage tax compliance. The World Bank has tasked the government of Rwanda to boost the private sector in order to speed up social and economic development. Good evening to you once again, and many thanks for joining us on Rwanda Television News. As we kick it off, the government of Rwanda says that the new measures on VAT rewards and voluntary disclosure to encourage tax compliance will play an important or vital role in increasing the amount of money generated from taxes. Adam Skuzera starts us off tonight.
The Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Ndagijimana, had a press conference with the local media to discuss various cabinet resolutions. Among the approved laws were those related to the tax sector in general, including a ministerial order determining the modalities and conditions to benefit from voluntary disclosure incentives. Minister Dr. Ndagijimana emphasized that these approved laws and measures, particularly on voluntary disclosure incentives, aim to support companies and individuals, ensuring they comply with tax regulations and avoid tax evasion. Here, when he voluntarily discloses himself, he can be allowed to pay in installments up to 6 months. Here the case is that he have to get disclosed, and for us you should know him because you can't help someone you don't know. So when he voluntarily discloses himself, he might benefit from getting incentives of fines and penalties. You can also be allowed to pay at any given period of time. According to the ministerial order, a consumer who requests and is issued with an EBM invoice is eligible for a reward of 10% of the VAT amount shown on the issued invoice. If a consumer is denied the invoice and informs the tax administration, they are eligible for an additional reward equivalent to 50% of penalties paid on that invoice. The Commissioner General of the Rwanda Revenue Authority, Pascal RwandaTV, affirms that this ministerial order is primarily focused on raising awareness among consumers about their role in requesting invoices. It was seen that some taxpayers, it is very hard for them to issue an invoice, which hinders the tax to be collected as it should. And that's why we chose this way, just to mobilize the consumers to be eligible in asking the invoice, hence to increase the number of taxpayers issuing EBM, as well as helping us to collect tax easily, but also to remind those taxpayers to know better that we consumers will have the rights of those invoices. RwandaTV Pascal also explained the ministerial order that determine modalities to apply for authorization to acquire foreign service not available in Rwanda, stressing that this order will support taxpayers who need services that are not in Rwanda. There might be a company that needs someone who can work on internet networking solutions and may say that in Rwanda there are no competent workforce for that, so I have to get them outside the country. And then we say that here in Rwanda we have competent workforce, so when you get someone from outside, you will be charged a VAT. So here we need to clear the air on the available services on the local market, and that's the purpose of this order. Rwanda Revenue Authority highlights that the value-added tax VAT is a significant contributor to the country's economy, constituting 34% of all taxes collected in the country. Adam Skuzera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adams. On Wednesday, the World Bank Rwanda launched the 22nd edition of the Rwanda Economic Update that focused on mobilizing domestic savings to boost the private sector, which contributes to easing the country's expenses. We do have the details with Prince Manzi.
Published twice a year, the Rwanda Economic Update recommends a focus on the policy levers that can help mobilize domestic savings to boost the private sector in Rwanda towards its 2050 vision. With this update, the World Bank stresses on the importance of increasing domestic savings.
Maintaining Rwanda's development trajectory and achieving the goals outlined in Rwanda's Vision 2050 will require increased efforts to shift the drivers of economic growth towards a private investment-led model, given the country's shrinking fiscal space. Rwanda faces a challenge in mobilizing domestic savings, critical for private sector investment, and to reduce the country's vulnerability to diminishing external finance. While financial inclusion has risen sharply with significant transitions from informal to formal savings methods, Rwanda's savings rate remains low compared to regional and aspirational peers. This economic update we are launching today has made a long list of specific recommendations on how to build on an already impressive government reform and investment agenda to further enhance savings.
The Minister of State in charge of Public Investment and Resource Mobilization at the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, Janine Munyeshuri, reiterates that in the NST1, concluding in 4 months, projected domestic savings to be on a 23% rate proportional to the GDP from 10.5% in 2017. Minister Munyeshuri asked that there should be analyzed why people prefer saving in SACCOs or funds rather than financial institutions.
Informal savings groups continue to be preferred over banks, mobile money and Murenge SACCOs as well. We should then ask ourselves what pushes our population to prefer those informal channels of savings, the advantages they see, and if this can be replicated by formal ways and products for saving in the kind of what Sarah was suggesting in terms of policy making through digitization.
The private sector investment will be on a 21.2% rate at the end of the NST1 from 14.4% in 2017. The Rwanda Economic Update was presented in presence of the representatives of the public and private sector, civil society and economic personnel. The CEO of the Bank of Kigali, Dr. Diane Karusisi, and the Regis Rugemashuro, the CEO of the RSSP, talk on the increasing of savings among beneficiaries.
I think we've seen in other markets things like gamification of savings, save as you pay or save as you earn, things that are seamless. You don't feel that you're saving, yet you're actually saving. So I think we've not been very innovative and creative in designing savings products, but we are catching up slowly. And I think in the next couple of years, not months, you will be able to have products that are attractive to the youth, and they'll be saving without even realizing that they're saving and supporting the economy.
We will continue to make sure we're investing safely and cautiously to make sure we are guaranteeing higher returns in comparison to what's available, but also to ensure the easiness or smoothness of accessing the products. So we are improving today. In a couple of weeks, we'll be launching Ejoheza 2.0, a new, completely much better experience that allows local people to save, but also diaspora as well.
The Rwanda Economic Update demonstrates that between July and December 2023, the private sector investment grew from 12.7% proportional to the GDP in 2007 to 15.8% in 2022. This is as the public sector investment grew from 5% to 13.8% in the same period. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
The Ministry of Trade and Industry has revealed that it started penalizing non-permitted buyers of maize produce, as well as trade who do not abide by the established maize prices. We do have the details. Nasan Gatsinzi, a farmer from Nyagatare district, eastern province of Rwanda, says this season yielded tangible maize produce. He currently has 10 tons of maize in his home. However, he is concerned that prices set by the Ministry of Trade and Industry are not respected. We request that set prices can be respected. That would increase the value of agriculture. I'm waiting for the prices to slightly increase so that I can sell the produce. The set price is 400 Rwandan francs per kilo of maize moistured between 13.5 and 18 and 350 Rwandan francs for the maize moistured between 16 to 25. Dry maize is sold between 260 and 311 Rwandan francs. Since this is where I get the school fees for my children, I can't stop it. However, I'm doing it unhappily. We mostly sell maize at 180 Rwandan francs. Traders say they also resell them at 210. We end up selling our produce cheaply because we have no choice. Farming activities cost a lot. Today, a laborer costs 2,000 Rwandan francs per day. We end up incurring losses. The fact that farmers are not getting money they expected from their produce raised many controversies. There is a term of saying that a farmer is ashamed, simply implicating that what they invested does not match the output. On the other hand, farmers are committed to establishing quality storages to ensure that their produce will not get spoiled. After retiring, I decided to be a farmer. The left-outs from my maize produce is turned into animal feeds. I established storage rooms. When I harvest, I store my produce, then sell it when the price is reasonable. Those who buy maize for resale explain the reasons behind not respecting prices set by the Ministry of Trade and Industry. We do not have tenders. Most of those who have them are from Kigali. If that changes, farmers will be able to get enough money from their produce. Karangwa Kassier, the Director General at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, noted that the issue is being closely monitored. More than 7 traders have been arrested. In East, 6 have been detained, whereas in the South, 4 have been arrested. 1 had bought in bulk, but also small traders were arrested. More than 5 million Rwandan francs of penalties have been collected from those people. Farmers say building storage facilities around the country can become a durable solution for the issues they are facing. And moving ahead, on Wednesday, representatives from various public institutions, faith-based organizations, and civil society organizations participated in the dissemination of the Rwanda Civil Society Barometer 2023. The report is meant to assess the mandate of the civil society towards advancing a common development agenda. Speaking during the session, the Rwanda Governance Board CEO, Dr. Eusta Kayitesi, appreciated the role of the civil society in promoting citizens' welfare. She further reiterated that findings of the RCSB 2023 will inform interventions meant to empower and strengthen civil society to deliver on their mandate. However, the RGB CEO called for the direct involvement of beneficiaries, the citizens.
The Rwanda Civil Society Development Barometer 2023 highlights the state of civil society in Rwanda today, and we found that in the different domains that we assessed, there are certain things that have been really achieved in terms of the working environment of civil society, but there are certain issues that need attention, and some of the issues that need particular attention are the relationship between civil society and the private sector, and the need for them to converge and engage together and even allow the civil society to be able to locally mobilize resources requires a more effective relationship between civil society and the private sector. Another element that was highlighted in this barometer is the need for the beneficiaries to be partners, because some of the beneficiaries highlighted that they don't feel involved in the process of the projects that the civil society brings. So it's also important that it becomes a partnership journey. When the beneficiaries stand at the receiving end, there is a weakness in terms of making these projects sustainable and having the actual ownership that the beneficiaries should have.
And on the side of civil society organizations, this was an opportunity to revise progress and challenges, as well as the opportunities within the sector, and help understanding the CSO's contributions to national development and the areas where further support and collaborations are needed.
One of the recommendations that we've got from the Rwanda Civil Society Barometer is to try to see how we can be able to strengthen civil society organizations, because one of the main objectives of the civil society organization is to create transparency and accountability. So we need to strengthen our institutions based on the areas that the study has highlighted that need improvement when it comes to governance and values, when it comes to corruption, and also when it comes to how we can be able to fight against money laundering. So I think the study has come at the right time, and we are to use the recommendations to see how we can be able to improve the performance of the civil sector, so that we can be able to have vibrant civil sector organizations.
And moving ahead to other matters, during the International Conference on EU, the East African Community and the role of regional integration in African development, it was highlighted that actual integration of the African continent is to be fully realized so as to achieve the common goals and benefits. Commenting on the situation in the East African region, Professor Dr. Penina Uwimbabazi, the Vice Chancellor of the Protestant Institute of Arts and Social Sciences that organized the conference, noted that for the region to develop, it is high time to discuss real matters at hand.
Some of the researches that were presented here are related to the security, peace and security in the region, and we believe that this is a good platform where academicians could discuss that. Research that we see as having impact to the policymakers and decision makers in a way that will bring to the table different solutions or different approaches that could be used to resolve issues that are found in the East African region, particularly in the Great Lakes region.
The acting division manager for EAC and East African Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Alexi Mutamba, re-emphasized the need for having a common interest, particularly in the region.
Well, research is just like any other survey. It's all about through institutions and higher learning institutions, or universities and higher learning institutions, to educate people, referring to what has been identified by a specific research paper. So the importance of this conference is to educate, first of all, to inform people about how regional integration communities work, their benefits, the opportunities existing within those regional integration communities, and how regional integration communities can help to maybe bring security and stability, or even address other challenges in terms of trade, in terms of development, in terms of anything that has relates to integration. But I want to inform you that there is always a need for having a common interest. Without a common interest, regional blocks or regional communities cannot serve any purpose without a common interest.
Participants in this conference exchanged views on the importance of unity of countries and their contribution to building peace, solving conflicts, security, economic advancement, and sustainable development. And from this, we sum up our tonight's edition. On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team, many thanks for being with us. Up until next time, you stay safe and have a great evening.